I decided when it came time to tell my loved ones that I had COVID-19, I decided to reach out to my eldest brother first. He is also an essential worker. He is a bus driver for New Jersey Transit. And I decided he would be a good family member to talk to first because he understood the pressure of having to physically show up to work and put yourself at risk for contracting the virus. And so one of the things he and I discussed was whether I should tell my mother. And my instinct was to wait to tell her until I had gotten better. And he agreed with that instinct because my mother lives in Florida. She's retired. And I was very concerned that if I told her I had symptoms and I suspected I had COVID, that she would become so worried and so anxious, and there wasn't much she could do really to help me from Florida. And so I, kind of had this image that she would worry herself endlessly, maybe call me 7 times a day to check up on me, because she would be worried and concerned, but that also would have been a lot during that time. So I decided to hold off on telling her until I was better. And so that's what I did. I let her know probably after 10 or 11 days after, I had been cleared to go back to work. And she was still very anxious and very worried after I told her. But I think, she took some solace and reassurance in the fact that I was better and working again. So that was how I decided, to tell my loved ones. I think in terms of my decision about friends and who to tell, I definitely decided to tell my close friends who lived in our neighborhood because I suspected that I would need their help at some point. And that turned out to be true. I did need their help at some point, so that was a wise decision looking back. But there was also people that I decided not to tell right away. And so, for me, my story is tell who you feel safe telling. Tell who you think can handle the stress and the anxiety of knowing. And, you can always decide to tell them later or not. It's your personal story. It's your personal decision. There's no right or wrong. For my colleagues, I did decide to tell a few close colleagues at work, and they were wonderful. They were amazing. They would check up on me. One, sent me a prayer, which was very touching to me. I'm a spiritual person, and it's something, some of them were ill with COVID as well, and I found that really helpful because they would tell me about their course of symptoms, and they would kind of tell me what to look out for, and I would share my course of symptoms with them. So, again, I didn't tell everyone at work. I told my colleagues that I felt close to, but everyone I told was incredibly supportive, very caring, very kind, and that helped. That definitely, all of that kindness and support, it helped me during those days.